A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David, from a very gloomy day, a real anticyclonic gloomy day here. But it's currently 18 degrees, so no complaints, about 7 knots from the east-southeast, and the bar is 1020.7. And it's quite fun looking at the AIS. What a fleet of boats from both Fiji and Tonga, and what speeds, my goodness gracious. You are enjoying this lovely anticyclone that's giving us our gloomy weather here. I'm going to go straight into the boats because there's quite a few of you. And I think what I might do is organise a radio technician to meet you all, because it seems to me that radios are a real problem at the moment. I've got 4 boats with kaput radios, and I haven't even added moonfish to the list, so maybe they're going to be coming back into the system tonight. But boy, what a lot of not using your radios and all of a sudden finding they don't work. Anyway, gracias. They are at, and this was a couple of hours ago, 24.25 south, 174.34 east. Let's put that in real nautical terms. 24 degrees 15 south and 174.21 east, on a course of 190 true at 6.5 knots, and they've got 15 to 20 east southeast, 50% cloud cover. A bit bumpy because of the 2 metre southeasterly swell. Others are saying that there's sort of east and southeast and it's a bit bumpy. Anyway, all is well on board, so that's good. And I've just got a random news here as I was writing it down during the course of the day. I got an email from Rubicon, and they indeed saw the comet on Monday night. Watched it track across the sky for quite a while, and that was the night that we here should have watched it. It's the only night that we've had clear, but we forgot about it. Okay, moonfish, and this was half an hour ago. 25 degrees, 2558 south, 174.49 east. I think they're the lead one of our group that we're looking at. 173 magnetic at 11 knots. Can you believe it? Boy, that would make a fast trip. A poor old chameleon wouldn't double our speed. Yes. 15 knots from the east, 1 metre swell, so still enjoying really good conditions for their big catamaran. 30% cloud cover and only 592 miles to go. So really good going. Be interesting to do the sums to see if they're going to beat the front, and I suspect they won't. But anyway, I'm going to call you later, Sasha, to see whether your radio is actually able to function on a transmit. Okay, Dash, who has definitely put his radio aside for probably put it on the jobs to-do list. 2406 and 17503. 182 true course at 8 knots, another good speed. 15 knots of east-southeast. Swell is a bit confused. They were the ones that talked about an east and a southeast, 1+ metre swell. So
and this is what I've been talking about.
Yes, this is a little bit confusing for those of us that like a smooth passage. Okay, let's go to the boats that are calling in and go to Master Plan, Gulf Harbour Radio. Oh, don't tell me that Master Plan has got a problem with their radio too. Maybe catching a fish. Let's go to Obsession, Gulf Harbour. Ooh, it's pretty light tonight. That's interesting. Pretty light, but go ahead, Lisa. I'll glue my ear to the speaker. Oh, sounds good, and good progress from yesterday. Obsession with Lisa and Lester, 22 degrees 16 south, 175 degrees, 04 east. 190 magnetic course between 5 and 6 knots, and the wind is in the 15 to 20 knot east range, and a 1 to 2 metre easterly swell. And I think you mentioned something else related to the swell, but I didn't quite catch that. What was that? Over? Ah, yeah, that's the one that Dash was picking up. Yep, all right, got that. So, and all is well on board. So, good progress from Obsession. So, we'll talk to you again tomorrow, Lisa. Yeah, gosh, it was quite peaceful in the house. It's amazing what you can get done when there's only one person there. You can play music at top volume and the music that you like. It really is, we should do it more often. Okay, clear with you, and go to Falado on a quite different course. Falado, Gulf Harbour. Oh yeah, it's interesting. It's not too good. It's probably a little bit early for good copy from you guys, but go ahead, Jan, over. Yeah, I'm going to need some fills. I need your degrees of latitude, something rather 24, 17225 east. Course, and the course actually I would like a fill on too, 7.4, so Falado is going well in that 22 knots of easterly. So can you give me what I missed, over? Okay, I was pretty close, so 225 true, and it was at 23 degrees that I missed. So yeah, it looks like you're doing pretty well and still on course. So I think you said all was well on board. Is that correct, over? Okay, and I missed the comment about the swell. If you could repeat that, over. Okay, got that. Thank you very much. Yes, it's pretty stable across the that latitude, the 20 to 25 degrees. So, okay. All right. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, and hope you have a good, pleasant evening. Clear with Falado, and let's see if we can find Soy Libre. Nothing heard there. Iron Maiden, Gulf Harbour. Okay, I have Iron Maiden at 22 degrees 5-6 minutes south, 169 degrees, and I think it was 18. Might want to just clarify the minutes of longitude. 7 knots. Good gracious, that's a good speed for Iron Maiden on a course of 170 true, east northeast 18. Seas are up a bit, southeast 2.5 to 3 metres, 50% cloud cover, 1010, and all is well on board. Sounds good, Margaret. What was the minutes of longitude? Over. Can't be 88 east. Okay, it can't be 88 east because it only goes up to 60, so I'm going to make it 58 east, and I'll just check the AIS. Okay, well, sounds good, and good progress. I'm just checking what it was yesterday. Yeah, you're doing pretty well, aren't you? All right, well, hope that swell drops a bit for you, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow, Margaret. Over. Yeah, indeed, indeed. Yes, copied you well, copied you well. Okay, clear with Iron Maiden, and let's go across to one of the many boats coming from Tonga. Ruffian is going well and catching up on the ones that left further south. Ruffian, Gulf Harbour. Yeah, very light copy tonight, which is very different from last night. I'm just going to check what's going on here. Just hang on a minute. I'm going to just increase the gain here. Yeah, put the preamp on, I think, because all the signals have been down tonight. Okay, Ruffian had a good 24 hours, 2103 south, which is really good, and 17630 west, on a course of 235 true at 6.5 knots, 18 to 22 southeast, bit on the bouncy side, but hopefully things will settle down a little bit. Just great progress shown us, so, and all is well on board. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over. Okay, and I'll just go back to Master Plan, Gulf Harbour. Yeah, your signal is a bit better, Dean. Go ahead. Okay, can you just repeat the wind speed? I think I got southeast, but I thought I heard 20 to 25. Is that correct? Okay, we have Master Plan 23 degrees 25 south, 174 degrees, I think it was 16 east, bit of fading, 195 true at 6.5 knots. Pretty steady winds, 20 to 25 southeast with a southeast swell, and 1016. It's overcast, so and it looks like, I'm just looking at your yesterday's position. Gosh, you've done a good 24 hours as well. Over. Yeah, it looks like it'll be interesting to see what David's got to say in a minute. Okay, we'll clear with you, and hope everything goes well overnight and into tomorrow. Gosh, that was a really good day's run. Okay, I'll just try for Soy Libra. Nothing heard there, and I'm just going to see if there's any questions on streaming. I always forget to say hello to the streaming people. Often people will say hello, like Wang Chung said last night. Good evening to all the streaming people, following some of your friends and family along on their passage. Okay, I am going to pass the microphone. I'm going to give a call to Zoomax shortly, but let's cover the boats on this side of the dateline first.
All right, good evening to all of you out there. I have just got back from Tauranga, and unfortunately, being a bit tired, I have not had a chance to review all of the synoptic data that I normally do get, but I have enough to give you an idea of what I see is going on at the moment. The big mover in terms of weather at the moment is the big high that is just to the east of all of the routes heading down to New Zealand. That high is centered at 32 south, 32 south, and 160 west, and it is pushing out a ridge all the way out to the Coral Sea. It's quite amazing. It's a very, very large high in area, and it's pretty strong, 1032. Now, over to the west, just to the east, along the eastern borders of Australia, if you will, we have a low that has formed, a depression, and that's located at about 30 south, and I would say about 158 east. So we'll call it 30 south, 158 east. Now, it's creating a bit of a squash with that high pressure system that's off to the east. And therefore, we're getting winds that are fairly moderate. I won't say strong. They are strong in some areas. But for rum line from Fiji to New Zealand, not too bad. And the boats that are leaving from Tonga to New Zealand, the winds are in a great direction, and certainly plenty of speed on them to give you a pretty good passage. Now, what's going to happen is we have got another depression that's to the south of New Zealand, and we have a third depression that's just to the east of Tasmania. This is creating quite a mess down in the New Zealand area, the Tasmania area, and everything in between. So we've got a couple of fronts to talk about. One of the frontal bands we'll look at Friday morning. One frontal band is going to be from New Zealand, call it Cook Strait. It's going to run almost north. I would say roughly it'll run up the 170 longitude line, and it will eventually get up to New Caledonia. The second one runs from the Cook Strait area to the low that I just talked about, that's just to the east of the coastline of Australia. And those troughs and frontal bands, if you will, are going to be heading southeast. And that means the boats that are traveling rumline from basically Fiji are probably going to be encountering the troughs. And by the way, they look like they'll start to come together by late Saturday. They're certainly going to hit New Zealand. That hasn't changed. So we are going to see the cold front, just as we've talked about for the last couple of days. That is going to hit New Zealand on Saturday. So that's pretty much a given now. And the front that's driving that, or pardon me, the depression that's driving that is going to be just to the west of the northern South Island of New Zealand. So it's wrapped up pretty well. It looks like it's about a 997, not particularly strong, but the cold front is certainly going to have some punch to it. So that will be a concern for any boats making landfall on Saturday, but it will also affect boats that are around 30 south and heading toward New Zealand on that time frame Saturday. So I haven't looked at it in a whole lot of detail, but I'll do that and give you some answers tomorrow as to what I think is going to happen with these troughs and fronts, which will become one front, it looks like at the moment. So that's the story. I won't bother giving you the weather in Fiji because those of you that have left and won't care what's going on in Fiji, and the same at Tonga. There's a lot of wind in Tonga, but the folks that have left are going to be enjoying the winds that are coming from the lovely high that will be to their southeast. So unless you have any questions, that's basically the story at the moment. Boats that are wanting to go from Vanuatu to Australia, probably Bundaberg, at least certainly one of the yachts that we're talking to, it's Bundaberg. And that probably is going to be a reasonable start around Saturday for those yachts. Looking at Thursday, tomorrow, very little wind. It's doable, of course, but it would be basically motoring, which quite a few of you do not want to do that. And then looking at Friday, we've got winds that are basically coming out of the east for Vanuatu, maybe a little bit out of the northeast if you're a little bit further south. In other words, if you left from Port Vila, as an example, you would have northeast winds. And there is convective activity from Port Vila all the way down to Venetian, in fact, all the way down to New Caledonia, covering all of New Caledonia. But rumline to Bundaberg from, say, the northern part of Vanuatu looks pretty clear at the moment. But light air, certainly Thursday, fairly light air on Friday, but Saturday will be a reasonable sailing day. So we'll confirm that tomorrow. And one of the yachts is very concerned about Cape. They're looking at Cape values for that particular area. And all of the models seem to be putting out data on that. I know Windy does it and Predict Wind does it. I don't believe Access does it. ICOM, I don't think does it. But this is an interesting bit of data for you yachts that are looking at the number. You know, we all have gotten numbers that supposedly to live by. So in other words, anything from 1,000 to 2,500, we're looking at moderate instability of the atmosphere, and 2,500 to 4,000, very strong instability, and over 4,000, extreme. Well, those are numbers, and that's a description, but what does it really mean? So, in essence, it's actually calculated by the temperature difference between a lifted air parcel and the surrounding air that this parcel is being lifted into. And it provides the data from what we call a skew T diagram. So all of the reporting centers are putting out their balloon launches at 00 Zulu and 1200 Zulu. And from those balloon launches, they're getting this data. And then it comes out to guidelines such as what I just said, the 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,500 and whatnot. Anyway, what it means to a yacht is that it's the potential for thunderstorms, plain and simple, to make it real easy to look at and understand. The other way of doing it is to look at your cloud forecast, of which both Windy and Predict Wind do. I enjoy looking at the cloud forecast because you can tell by looking at that the type of cloud basically that you're going to have and what the odds are subjectively looking and deciding what may be a problem or not a problem. Anyway, there's not much you can do about it. It is what it is. So if you set off on a passage, you are going to run into cloud, and depending upon the severity of the instability of the atmosphere, that cloud will either be fun or no fun. And if it's no fun, that means thunderstorms, and worse, it could also mean lightning, which no yacht wants to see or be near, that's for sure. So those of you that are looking at the Cape, that's fine, but just bear in mind there's virtually nothing you can do. You can't plan for it because it changes. It changes all the time for the most part. I was going to do a session, I may do it tomorrow, on clouds. So anybody that's interested in learning a little bit more about clouds and its relationship to yachts, stay tuned tomorrow. And at the end of the broadcast, those that are interested can listen. It won't take very long, but somewhat interesting anyhow. So that's the story. And I can't think of anything else in the short time I've had to look at the data. But anyway, the fronts, the problem with the frontal band, to finish this off, is that they are running, in essence, almost north-south. And the reason that is probably more of an issue is that as it goes east, the yachts that are already underway they're stuck with it. They're going to be caught up with this moving band or bands. And again, there's not much you can do about it other than prepare your boat for it. So that's the story there. So tomorrow we'll have a better look at really where these frontal bands and troughs are going. Maybe what I'll do is give a 2 points lat long, give you 2 points of lat long, and you could draw a line between them, and that could represent the axis of the front or the trough, and that might be helpful. We'll see. I'll work on it. If it looks like it's too much of a pain and might not mean too much, I'll forget about it, but I will make an effort to do it, and it'll be interesting. But anyway, there's no doubt in my mind that some of the yachts, quite a few of the yachts, are going to be affected by these bands. And again, there's not much you could do about it because you've left. The boats coming from Tonga have a much better chance, a much more of a delay of having these fronts affect them. And the other good news about that sort of thing is once they head east far enough, they tend to dissipate. So who knows? The Tonga boats may not have an issue with them at all. It just depends. So we'll check that out. And with that, I'll give it back to the chief.
Right, this is Houston Control here, just moving the streaming microphone around. Okay, I'm going to go to ZoomX, and then I will do a general call for anybody else who wants to join us. And then I am going to go to 8297 just to check out Dash's radio on that particular frequency. So anyone who wants to, who can't talk on 8752 can give us a call on 8297. So first of all, let's head over to near the equator and departing further away from us, ZoomX, Gulf Harbour. It's a very light copy on pretty much everybody tonight, but there's not much noise around, so it's just conditions, Anna, but I have good copy, clear copy on you, even though it is light. Go ahead. Yeah, I would imagine ZoomX is enjoying 7 knots. Okay, 03 degrees 16 north, 131 degrees 23 west. 045 true, 7 knots with 20 knots of southeast. 2 meters confused seas, it's a bit of a pain. 80% cloud cover, I think you said 80, there's a bit of fade going on. So yeah, sounds pretty good. Good progress. Over. I didn't quite copy that. It's something about the 2 other boats that are with you. So yeah, I just couldn't quite copy what you were saying. It's very, very light here tonight, Anna. Over. Oh, okay, yeah, the comet, yes. Well, we're certainly not going to be able to see it again tonight because of the cloud cover. So, yeah, it's sort of pretty exciting. It's amazing when you're just sitting in the cockpit at night time, the number of falling stars and things that you see. It's sort of quite interesting, isn't it, when you have a nice clear night? So, and not too much moon brightness around. You see all sorts of things. Okay, all right, well, have a good night, you two, and yeah, with those speeds you won't have to be worried about those big slow down barnacles growing on the hull. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow. I'm still quite surprised we're getting you as well as we are on this frequency, and just not sure why all the signals are down a bit tonight, but it just might be conditions. Okay, cheers to you both, and we'll talk tomorrow. So we'll clear with ZoomX. Is there anybody else wanting to check in on Passage? Over. Moonfish. I wouldn't exactly say it's crystal clear audio, Sasha, but at least you're transmitting. Over. No, you're going to have to repeat that because it's quite distorted, so I'm not really picking that up, but try it again. Over. No, neither of us were shaking our heads. Does anybody who's a bit closer and know possibly what the subject is, can anyone interpret that? I'm sure it's English, but that's as far as I can get. Is there any relays? No. We'll have to keep this recording so that you can listen to yourself then. Alrighty. Sorry about that, Sasha, but at least you're getting some noise out, so at least that's a start. It's just really quite distorted. So we'll try it again another time when you've had another look. I don't know how you've got time for looking at the radio when you're whooping along at 11 knots, but there you go. Okay, was there anybody else that wants to do a radio check? I think I'll add Moonfish to my list. That's up to 5 now of boats that need radio work when they get to New Zealand. Anybody else? That was a and I think that would be Dash, because that's a very clear the throat noise that's coming from Dash. But I am still going to close the net on 8752 now, and I'm going to reset my antenna to 8297, and we'll see if Dash can come up with anything on 8297, or anybody else for that matter. So have a good evening, everybody, and looks like David's going to be busy tomorrow night talking about possible passage windows and other such topics. Clouds, did you say you were going to talk about clouds? Yes, clouds.
Why not?
And dusting off the crystal ball to see when the next influx could come. Boy, customs are going to be really busy. I do hope they send some extra people up from Auckland. Cheers everybody, and we are QSY, changing frequency. No sign of Soy Libra, but everybody else called in tonight, and we will be back again tomorrow. This frequency is available because I am moving to 8297. Cheers all. This is Gulf Harbour Radio on 8297, calling sailing vessel Dash.
There.
Well, the noise is there, but nothing. Can you give me a longer transmission, Mike? A longer transmission, and I'll see if I can work out what might be happening. Okay, do a long transmission again. I'm just going to go through the other modes to see if there's something coming through on there. So start again. No, I've tried all the different modes. It's absolutely nothing to do with the different modes. So you're obviously hearing me, and so it's definitely something to do with your transmit. So anyway, we'll just put you on the list. You can add the radio to the list. Sorry about that. Boy, there are a few people with radio problems, though, if that's any consolation. Anyway, you guys keep going your very good speed and living up to the boat name, and we'll hear from you tomorrow. Cheers. Over. Oh, how frustrating.